How are you? Everything good?
Wonderful. Oh yeah.
I missed you in Miami. I didn't see you, did I?
No, no, I was working
I didn't
here.
think I did because I saw so many people. I was like,
Like I
where's
didn't see that bald guy.
yeah, well, you didn't, yeah, from one to another. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
How's life, man? Treating you
good.
good?
It's been a I don't know, kind of a rough year, but I'm head down and chin up and digging through it and it's coming out the other side.
I
uh
tell you what, man, I'm glad you're here. You speaking about a rough year.
yeah.
That's what we're really going to talk about today. I know I didn't put a topic out there,
Yeah.
uh, but we're going to talk about 2025.
Oh, I can't wait for 2025.
Yeah.
Q2 is my friend.
So I'm going to I'm going to listen. I want to, and just to gear that up, Dave, what I
Yeah.
want you and everybody else to do. What's up, Stephanie? We got Stephanie in the house. Okay. I see. I'm looking at Brett in the house. We got
Hey
Brett.
y'all.
Brett's got I want to say a $6 million deal that he's working right now. He just got, it's in God's hands. We're praying. We hung out in Miami a couple weeks ago and he's actually going to be trying to get that deal going today. So, I mean, he's already got the listing. So he's got a really, really interested buyer right now. So, and Stephanie is doing good. What's up, Stephanie? Y'all remember Stephanie? Remember
Hey y'all.
she kind of hijacked our coaching call.
I did.
The Holy Spirit let it go, let it roll that way. And she reported back to me that she had 2.2 million in closings on the books within 30 days of that call that we had together. So, I'm eager to see that 70 grand hit her, $70,000 hit her bank account. So that's going to be fun.
I I'm 2.5 million closing next week.
Woo! Praise you. Thank you, Jesus. Two and a
Yes.
half million.
Amen.
And it's
Amen.
interesting how this business is where we're like, the sky's falling, nothing's happening. This sucks. I don't like what I'm doing. There's no money coming in. And then boom, 2.5 million closing next week. Okay. All right. Within 6 weeks of us talking to each other. So I'll take
Yeah.
it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And you did the
And it was
work.
like the next week. I mean, I got it together the next week. I just needed Nolly to get a hold of me for a second and tell me to
I'm
buck
telling you
up.
what. I tell you what, and that's what I do with my coaches too. I'm actually doing some math on this. Um, and we're not going to ask you your commissions or anything, but that's the potential of being 75 grand, could be even more. I was teaching one of my one-on-one coaching students the way I list properties now, so much easier than we used to because for the listing, all this new NAR stuff actually made the listing side much more easy and made the buyer side a little more difficult. Not a lot, but a little more difficult. There's more routines and stuff like that. And you have to fight to try to get paid. And I mean, you don't have to fight to get paid, but there's combinations of how you get paid. Whereas on your list side, you get paid. Okay.
Right.
So now myself and my group, my high level group, we're basically going in every listing at 4% on the listing agent side. And then we're still charging our admin fee, 595. So I just got a pay raise, a bump in earnings with this NAR stuff. So that was good. All right. So let's what I want to talk about though, is a couple of announcements that I want to make before we jump into today. I see Matt Brewer is in the house. I got Maurice in the house as well. We got several others. Mieko, as always, love to see you, and Bonita as well, Bonetta as well, love to see you as well. So let's get the announcements out of the way. So next week on our next level Tuesday, and not all of you are even EXP. So you're part of my tribe. You could be from anywhere. It could be Compass, EXP, I train them all. And so because I used to be I was with other companies too. So but we have an incredible training scheduled for next week, not here, but it'll be on our next level Tuesday call. So be watching out for uh in fact, if you could post that, Paul, just go out to the next level group, post it here for the next week's call. We're actually going to have Curtis Johnson. And if you don't know Curtis, this is a guy that makes passively $250,000 a month in recurring revenue. He sold over 6,000 homes. Him and his team still sell 300 to 400 homes a year, some years more than that. And he's going to be sharing with us some incredible strategies on how to get ready for 2025. And we're going to talk about that a little today too, but that's going to be next Tuesday on our Next Level Tuesday call. So I will make sure to invite every single one of you. I'm going to send an email out. We'll send a text message out, right, Paul? We'll do that. And because that's going to be a great call. You definitely want to be on that. Another big announcement is that Paul, my man Paul, let's see, let me get Paul here. Let me see if I can, because he won't spotlight himself. So Paul had a new baby. Yay. Well, he didn't have a baby, but his wife had a baby, and they had a baby, I should say, his third child. And it's a baby boy, beautiful baby boy, very healthy. He's already got two girls. And if you don't know Paul, you know, Paul, every single YouTube, well, I say every YouTube video that you've seen from me the last 7 years, Paul's the one that actually edited and did all the work on those. So he does a lot of my behind the scenes, not just my video editing, but he does a lot of my graphics and marketing and social media and all kinds of stuff. So let's hear it for Paul. Yeah. All
Thank
right,
you.
Paul. Congratulations, bro. Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. So all right, I'll take him. He doesn't like to be in the hot seat. And then we did have our EXP con. That was absolutely amazing. I don't know if you guys saw that yesterday, the EXP stock shot up $2. I saw that. It was really nice to get that little bump. That was really nice to see. Now, what are we going to talk about today? Okay, that's it for the announcements. What are we going to talk about today? I got two things for you. One, I am launching a mastermind, a new mastermind. It's actually already soft launch. We've already got our first member enrolled. It's a high ticket. It's not cheap, but that's what a lot of people have been asking me for, is like, hey, Uncle Knolly, we love the calls, but we want that one-on-one coaching. So that mastermind is rolling out, has already rolled out. And so I'm going to share with you what's included in the mastermind in case you or someone that you know wants to be part of it. So I'm going to share that today. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is, and this is not the Ask Knolly anything, that's the third Thursday, right? So that'll be the Thursday before Thanksgiving. But you can, I mean, obviously, if you have a question or anything, you can bring that. But mainly what I want to know is what specific things are working for you now. That's first question. What's working for you right now? And then secondly, I want to know, what are you doing to gear up for 2025? Dave and I already kind of hinted at it. 2024 was a tough year. People were on the fence. Sellers didn't want to sell. There was still stuff selling, by the way. Still stuff selling. I've got a lot of icons in our group that are selling, making 3, 4, 500,000. We have a couple of people in our group that are making 900,000 a year in commission. So stuff is still selling. And obviously, when the market changes and the strategies, the rule book changes, you've got to change your tactics. You got to change your strategies, and you have to be nimble that way. But I want to know, what specific things do you have on the horizon that you can share with us as a group going into 2025 so that you could absolutely crush it. Okay. So those are the two things I want to know. What's working for you now, and what do you have on the horizon? So with that first, so just be thinking, marinating on that. What do you want to share? I'm looking for several shares today. And then if we have any time, I can help you critique anything that you want to. They call it roasting now. I don't know why they use that term, but like I could actually roast your social media or I don't know. Have y'all heard that term? Anyway, where I basically audit you from a branding standpoint, because here's what I believe. Here's what I believe with all my heart. I believe that going into 2025, you're going to have to, if you have been avoiding it up until now, you're going to have to really focus on listings. Okay. Listings. And there's a couple reasons. I had a coaching client yesterday that I was on with, and the reason why she hired me and is paying me a lot of money is because she is absolutely burnt out. She's doing really good business. Her production's high, but she's working too much. Okay. And it's kind of a better problem to have than not having business, but it's still not a good problem. So I'm going to help her systematize, automate, delegate her business so that she could actually work that really 15 hours, 20 hours a week is all you need to work in your business. I don't care what your goals are. That's really all you need. So that's what I'm working with her on. So listings is, and I'm just going to kind of brain dump on you some things that have been on my heart. Listings is going to be very important. Why is that? Because right now, what kind of market do we have? Okay, we have the kind of market where buyers are reluctant to buy, sellers are reluctant to sell. They're tire kicking. It's more of a buyer's market right now. Things are not, depending on where you are, but in most areas, things are not getting 2, 3, 4 offers, or insane number of offers like they were. Stuff is sitting on the market for a month, 2, 3 months. That's a different kind of market. But what happened? And so with a market like that, you're able, as a buyer agent, you're able to go ahead and submit your offer and include the concession that includes your fee. Okay. But I just want you to think about this for a moment. What happens when, and it will happen, it's coming, when the market goes back to 3, 4, 5 offers on every property? What offer do you think the seller is going to go with? Because it's coming. I'm just going to tell you. And when you look back, you say, hey, it was November 7. Uncle Knolly told me it was about to happen. And here we are. Okay. I made a lot of predictions when COVID hit, that the market was about to go nuts. And it did. It did that for 2.5 years. So just think for a moment to yourself, what do you think when a seller is getting, now sellers love buyer agents, okay? But when a seller's getting 3, 4, 5, 6 offers, every seller's getting that. What is the value proposition for the buyer agent? And how are they going to get paid? Just answer me that question. Anybody got any thoughts on it?
I think
It's a trick question, right,
I
Dave?
know, I know, I know.
It's a trick
when
question
it
because
gets,
here's the reality. The reality is the buyer agent is going to get paid. Okay. It's got to just get figured out. But it's going to be more and more. And, maybe buyers won't mind paying because they're like, hey, if you win the bid, because remember when they were paying 50, 60, 100,000 more than asking? Okay, well, now guess what? You're going to pay my fee and I'm going to get you the deal. Okay. If you're a badass buyer agent that way, then that's great. But if you're a commodity buyer agent, which a lot of them I see, Dave, you've seen them, you're not
oh yeah,
that way,
oh yeah.
but you've seen them out there. At the end of the day, the seller is going to go with the one that brings them the lowest net. That's it. I mean, there's some other factors involved. Okay, this guy's got, 50% cash. I mean, there's other factors. I get it. To where they feel that this one has a better chance of closing. But at the end of the day, and I'm telling you, after selling 1,200 houses, 1,200 listings, I already know how sellers think. And at the end of the day, the seller is going to want to go with the offer that nets the most. And so that brings us to a lot of agents willing to cut their commission. It's, hey, look, I'll do it for 1%, as long as I'm the one that's picked as the winning offer. Okay. And now not only are you in a bidding war over the property, but you're also in a bidding war over your commission. Now, when you're the listing agent, you're not in that position. Okay. It's the only place you really want to be. I'm just going to say it. Okay. So, and there might be some people that disagree with me on that, but it is a matter of fact. When the largest research study was ever done in real estate ever, it was with the top 100 real estate agents in America, not the top 100 at this company or that company, the top 100 agents in America. And the consensus is there. Listings. That's the only way they got there. And that project was done in 2003. It was a research project with the top 100 real estate agents in America. And the research project became a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I don't know if y'all know this, but that was a research project. That's all it was. And that's where Gary pulled the top 100 agents in America and just did the research on what was making their business successful. And the only reason he wrote that book, some of you know this, some don't. The only reason he wrote that book was to grow Keller Williams. That's the only reason he wrote it. I mean, it's the number one reason he wrote it. I happen to know the behind the scenes. They went into a room They threw 100 ideas on the board. They were stuck at 14,000 agents after 20 years in business. They threw a bunch of ideas on the board. Okay. And this is God's honest truth. I'm telling you what happened. And it was the last idea standing at the end of the day was for Gary to write a book. Last idea standing. And so he chose, because he's a researcher, he funds A&M, the research arm of real estate. He's behind all that. He heavily funds that. So because he's a researcher, he decided to make a research project, and that's what it was. And at the end of the day, they found that the three things was leads, listings, and leverage. Okay, there's really nothing else. And if you're focused, if you're buyer centric and focused on buyers, when this market turns, you're gonna be in trouble. Period. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Okay, you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna be fighting for the same amount of money you used to chill, like coast for. You're gonna be fighting for it. But when you're on the listing side, it's no problem. You're queen, king, you're good. And you got to set that up now. So I just wanted to throw that out. I'm very passionate about that. I think it's very important. And I don't want anybody to be caught with their pants down. So now is the time to kind of make that graduation if you haven't already. Okay. So any thoughts? Any thoughts you want to throw in before I'm going to show you guys the mastermind, then I'm going to go back to some of your what's working with you now and what are you going to be doing in 2025? Any thoughts?
I like that you pushed my bubble from 3.5%.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? Look,
Why
you
not?
go into so here's how I always used to do listings. And I learned this from my good friend Rand Smith, and it actually gave me a great great pay raise. And I often, when I wake up in the morning, I ask myself, how can I give myself a raise today? Because when you used to work for, I don't know if you ever did, but I had a boss at one time. Now I'm looking back in the camera at him, he's not a great boss, by the way. He's kind of,
Mine's, yeah,
so I told a lady yesterday, and it was a God's honest truth. I said, you don't own a business, you own a job. Because she described what she did every day and all that. She owns a job. And you really don't want to do that. You want to own a business. So what Rand taught me was when you walk in the listing, back when we used to split the commission, way back in the day, like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we used to split it. I would tell the seller, and it was written out on every contract in the template. It would say my list fee is 8% of list price, or 7% of list price, or 6% of list price. So I had 3 different options, right? I always had my $5.95 admin fee. And I had to explain that to her yesterday. I mean, I've made on that fee alone almost $800,000. Okay. So going back to these different options, if I was going to do it at 6%, which was if it was an average home in an average neighborhood, cookie cutter, and I would look at the seller, I say, hey, look, this is not going to be a listing that we have to market internationally, like some of my listings are. I'm not going to have to do this and that. I tell you what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you my lowest rate. That's what I'm going to do for you. And I'd circle the 6%. I would initial next to it. Okay. And then I'd have them, I slide the paper over and say, hey, go ahead and initial. I'll go with my lowest rate. And then I would scratch out the other 2 rates. See, that's psychological. That's all sales is. And the reality is, if I was to just show up with 6% pre-filled in, they'd be wanting to negotiate. Okay. But it's called the Law of Least Choice. If you walk into my ice cream parlor and I've got chocolate and vanilla, don't come asking for pineapple, because that wasn't a choice I gave you. And most people that have common sense have been programmed from 5 years old or 3 years old. It's multiple choice. Which one do you want? 8, 7, or 6? Okay, here's my lowest rate. Well, now with this new, especially if you're using the EXP form, not those forms that have the splits still in them and trying to go with the old way, that's crap. I don't use that. I don't use those. I use the new EXP form that only has my commission in it. That's all I want to negotiate with the seller on the listing. At that point of the listing, it's a 4-page document. And all I'm negotiating is what I get paid. I'm not going to negotiate your fee for you if you're the buyer agent. Now, we'll do that later. So I say, I used to charge on these 8%, 7%, or 6%. But you've heard about the new NAR ruling. Yeah, you've heard about it. Okay. I can do it now for 4%. No problem. Really? You can? No problem. I can do that all day long. Boom. And by the way, if I do happen to have a buyer come along and they're unrepresented and I have to do all the paperwork, I'll just charge the other 2% then. Okay, no problem. Now, once we figure all that out, okay, I'm already got my 4%. Now let's go to the next page. Oh, by the way, do you want to offer a buyer agent? And let me share with you the pros and cons and the reasons why I think you might want to go ahead and offer a buyer agent something. Let's talk about that. Then we have that conversation. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how you actually are in the put yourself in the driver's seat of the conversation. Because at the end of the day, it's all whatever the offer comes in and what they want to go agree with, that's up to them, right? So that's the way it is now. So there's, yeah, I just gave you a raise, Dave. You know, go in with the 4.
I love it.
You know, if you end up at 3.5, you know, who cares? Or if you want to do it for 3.5, but just because you like the person or the past client, my past clients, because people always want to know, what are you giving me in return? And what I used to do is give them a 1% off. But what I found is that when you think about it for a moment, 1%, it doesn't even sound like that much, right? Even though it is. So like if it's a $500,000 home and I'm going to list the property, I say, you know what? You're a past client. I'm gonna give you 1% discount. You know, that's $5,000. So I came up with my friends and family discount. It's a coupon that I have on the back of a postcard, and I give them the postcard. I say, you know, you've already done business with me before, so I've got a friends and family discount. It's $500, and it's a $500 coupon, and they're ecstatic, you know, because it's all psychology. They just want something. They just want something. It's just like the buyer that's about to kill the deal. I mean, I had a buyer one time that was going to kill the deal because, I mean, this is the dumbest thing you've ever heard, but because the seller didn't flush the toilet in the upstairs bathroom, and he left sort of like something he shouldn't have left in there. And he was a young guy. It was a dumb thing to do. I'll say that. And I think he did it on purpose because he was at odd, but I'm not going to say he did, but I think he did. And so the Ty Nguyen was the buyer, and he happened to be, I think he's Vietnamese, and it was considered in their culture a very strong insult to do what the guy to. It was like a joke, but it was a very strong insult culturally for Ty. So he was ready to not go to closing. And so, you know, we had to save the deal, and it was just, and that's all emotion, right? At that point. And I said, so I called up his agent. I said, and I wrote it out because I never expect the buyer agent to articulate the way I will to save the deal. So I usually write it out. Now you can have Chat GPT if you train it right to write things out for you. And I said, you know, I'm so sorry that the movers did that. You know, that's disgusting. Oh, and he was like, oh, the movers did it. Like, it just changed the whole thing. We saved the deal. But we all know about that refrigerator that we throw in or something like that, just to save the deal. And it's just a token, right? It's not like, so I give them a token of, hey, you've done business with me before. Here's a coupon, $1,000, whatever you want to do. But when you start throwing percentages around, man, you're really giving yourself a haircut. You start looking like me and Dave doing that kind of business. You understand what I'm saying? They just want something. They're not asking you for 1%. Okay. And sometimes they will ask you for 1% just because that's just what it's programmed into them. Hey, could you do it for, 2%? It's like, look, I can't do it for 2% because of, the overheads that I have. However, I'm happy to give you $1,000 off. I mean, we're friends. I mean, here's what we're going to do. Boom. And then you leave the car. Oh, you give me $1,000 off. Great. Then they move on down the road. All right. So, Mieko had a question, and go ahead, Mieko, or a comment.
It's a comment. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Because I'm the one that maybe oldest one, but also newbie here because I'm a part-timer.
Hey, hold on,
referral
Mieko.
agent. Yeah.
Paul, I just realized we're not recording. Did you know that? Look at this guy has a baby and he forgets everything. You know what I'm saying? Look. But the cool thing is it's live streaming on YouTube. So let's catch that YouTube one, Paul. And I don't think I've ever done that before, but it just occurred to me. I think because I hit the live stream. Anyway, we forgive you, Paul, because you had a baby. Don't let it happen again. Go ahead, Mieko.
Yeah, I crack me up. Okay, since I'm a newbie in as a real estate agent, part-time referral, but my takeaway from you, uh, takeaway from you, you share with us a calculator, how many appointment, how much you determine to make a money. That's the first thing foremost. And then
Yes.
how much you make a commitment, take a action. And then yesterday I took again for the first cap and then realized that whatever I put today, make a commitment for the action is 100 days later, you should see the result.
That's
So
exactly right.
that one's
Exactly
the
right.
mindset totally changed. So I appreciate for your teaching and guiding, and I cannot wait for the another 100 days. What I done today
Yeah, I
connect
appreciate
to
that.
the 100
I
days.
really
So
appreciate that, Mieko. That's so good.
thank
You know,
you.
the actions that you take today are going to result in a paycheck for you 100 days from now. You know, unless you're like Stephanie Wilbanks and you're absolutely nuts and you go and take massive action and get a paycheck in 30 days. That's also an option, okay? Just so you know. But I'm glad you brought that up, Mieko, because that's the reason why I want to talk to you about your 2025 goals and your aspirations and what's working for you now and set you up correctly for 2025, because what you're doing today, now we're here before Thanksgiving, that's November, December, boom, January is going to set you up for a great 2025. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so let me quickly, I'm going to review for those who have questions about the mastermind, because whenever I make an announcement like, hey, I've got a new mastermind, I end up getting a lot of, DMs, which is cool, but you guys know I don't like to work all day. So this is for the sake of kind of answering some of the questions about this new thing. By the way, Paul doesn't even know about this, I don't think. We haven't even talked about it. So basically, here's the mastermind group. Thumbs up if you can see that. See the PowerPoint? Cool. All right. So right now it's a limited opportunity. I have it open to 40 agents. Okay. And it's a high ticket. It's not cheap. It's 18K. Okay. For that, 1,500 a month. It's a 1-year program. And basically what I do is I kick things off. This is my one-on-one coaching program. Okay. So it kicks off with a 90-minute, by the way, there's, like I said, only 40, but in the life of the program, eventually we'll open up more slots, but it will always max out at 100. Okay. And I have 42,000 agents in my training email list alone. So this is only going to be for 100 people. Eventually, right now it's only going to be for 40. We're 2024, we're only opening 40 slots. So we kick it off with a 90-minute one-on-one to review your disc, your business plan. You get to ask any questions before we really get started into the mastermind. It's unlimited daily access. I thought this is something that's very important that a lot of my one-on-one coaching clients have been asking me to do, is to open up my calendar. So this is one where essentially we operate through Viber. So we have a mastermind
Hey, buddy.
chat
Sorry, I missed
thread.
your call, man. I was on a dreaded Zoom call.
Okay, somebody is on that dreaded Zoom call. I hope it wasn't this one. You heard that, Stephanie, didn't you? Yeah, I heard it. All right, Paul, you tell me who that was later. All right, so that's through Viber, one-on-one access to, and what that is like, you might have something comes up and you say, hey, Knolly, I have a question about this, or Knolly, what do I do about that? Or Knolly, could you take a look at this website? Or Knolly, I need you to tell me, should I go with A or B? And then that way I reach back out and say, hey, Stephanie, I looked at the options you have. I would go with B if I were you, and here's why. Boom. So it's like that daily back and forth access through Viber, okay, where you get to ask me questions anytime you have them. It's like having Knolly in your back pocket. We have a weekly accountability call. I think accountability is so important. And the reality is, you are going to be so much more accountable. You're actually going to hit your goals in a much better way when you have accountability. And Mieko talked about being in Fast Cap. If you don't know what Fast Cap is, it's a great program. EXP just launched recently, and it is a really, really good program for having accountability and really learning the basics. Yeah. By the way, this program that I'm talking about, this is really for agents that are already making 100K. Like you're already six-figure agent, and you just want to take it to 300, 400, 500 and beyond. And you want to cut 5-7 years off the trajectory of your success. Like the agent I was talking to yesterday, she's been an agent for 20 years and she's just been stuck at the same production level for like the last 10. And easily she could be quadrupling her production. She's doing like 20 deals a year. She could easily be doing 40, 50 or 60 without working anymore. Okay. And so I help agents build that out. Quarterly live event. So we're going to have a 2-day live event where you fly in. It'll be in Austin. And we just hang out and you get to ask in-person questions. And I have really a lot more kind of accelerated information that I share at that. And then, of course, community sharing. So that's where we share all of our pre-listing packages, all of our strategies, tactics, everything else. The other piece of this comes with a done for you. So essentially, you're leveraging now my team to help you build out your funnels. We're going to build out your brand Bible. We'll go in through and audit your Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, all that. Really, what you want is you want everything to look synergistic. Am I saying that right? It's got to have synergy. Okay, let's say it that way. And then you want to develop and build out your 18 touch campaign. So we'll build that out for you. We'll help you develop your farm area. We'll help you decide what niche is good for you. And by the way, if you don't know this already, when it comes to working a niche or a farm, those are optional. I want you to write that down. A niche and a farm is really optional. Okay. So when you have essentially what I teach is that the 3 lead buckets is going to be your SOI, your farm, and your niche. Okay. And after I'd sold like 700 listings, I went back and looked at what the lead sources for all those were. And there was about 20 some lead sources. And I teach 27 lead sources, but all those lead sources really come in. They really sort of sort themselves into 3 buckets. Okay. So that's the reality. And what I would say is if you have a goal of doing 20 deals a year, you really don't ever have to have a farm or a niche. If you want to do like 30 deals, even, you probably don't ever have to tap a farm or a niche. You can, but you don't have to. But if you want to do 100 deals a year or, 70 deals or, more than 50, then you have to tap the other buckets that way. So we actually help you create the sales video and we do all the editing of that for you. We help you design the sign that's actually going to get sellers excited for you to list with them. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute. We're going to help you build your top 10 list, actually help build that for you, help you get 5-star reviews. We'll create an automated system, get your first 10 reviews, and then start getting reviews automated. We'll have all that automation built out for you. Design and edit your seller guide. You definitely want to have that going into 2025. It's going to be very important. And not only are you going to have a physical copy of it, but you're going to have a digital copy of it. And there's a couple of things, and create your own unique selling system. Let me go back to this part where I talk about these funnels. So there's a couple of funnels that you absolutely want to have going into 2025. And I'm going to reveal those to you all here coming into maybe next month or so. But I'm going to tell you what they are now, and I'm going to kind of show you what they are probably in the next month or so. The first funnel you want to have is a sort of what we call a 2.0 property valuation funnel. Okay. And so we actually have an agent that I just did a panel. He happened to be on the panel. I love the idea and I straight hijacked it because I love the idea. And Paul and I are actually building this out. Super, super simple to build, but then you've got to maintain it. But what it is a lot of real estate agents have a home valuation funnel or home valuation site, but but when you invoke the law of reciprocity, it works better. So this agent, Brandon Town, what he did was he created a sort of a bridge. So first you have like a landing page video that's 1 minute where you teach them 3 things that they absolutely must know before they list their home. Okay. Don't list with any agent before you understand these 3 things. And so it's a 1 minute video. And then he's got like another 40 seconds at the end of it. I'll break all this down for you in a future training. We don't have time for it today. And then from there, he's already given value. Okay. He's already provided value. And so now he's like, hey, if you want to take it to the next step, let's get your home valued. Okay. So it's the law of reciprocity. You already gave value. Now you're asking them for something in return, like fill out my home valuation. He launched this 17 days ago. He's already listed 2 homes from it. Okay. So in those 2 houses, by the way, you're talking 1.3 million. So he's going to have, and he did spend some money on it because he sent out a bunch of postcards. And, but anyway, so that's one. I call it the 2.0 for the home valuation. You're going to want to have an sort of, for lack of a better word, I'm going to say a home seller seminar. Okay, but we're going to keep that to 5 minutes. Remember when I always taught you guys to do a pre-listing video? Y'all know that, right? The pre-list, most of you guys know. Okay, pre-listing video. It's what really got me in so many doors was to have my pre-listing video that went out first. So this is taking it to kind of another level where you actually create a masterclass for sellers, but you're going to keep it down to about 5-6 minutes at the most. If it's under 5 minutes, that's even better. So that's going to be another funnel, okay, that you're definitely going to want to have as well. And there's one other funnel. Well, I'll share with you the 3 core funnels that you're going to want to have to generate more listing leads. Not today. Again, today's a different topic, but essentially what I want you to be thinking about, and I preach this all the time, and I've said it for the last at least decade, is that you have to win the listing, especially going into 2025, where there's going to be more and more people competing for that pool of inventory. You've got to win the seller over before you ever meet with them in person. You've got to win the listing appointment before you ever meet with the seller. Okay. And these funnels that, we're going to build for you, or you could build them on your own if you choose to do it that way. They are absolutely going to do that for you. So that's our mastermind. If it's something that you know for sure, hey, I'm in, then you just reach out to me or Paul, and we will, I'll have an initial call with you, and we'll kind of go through it that way. Okay. So any questions about that before we move to, I want to hear what's working for you, and I want to hear what do you have planned to do in 2025 to really to crush your goals. Put it that way.
I do have a question, Nolly.
Go for it.
So obviously, you know that I'm not in a normal real estate market. Residential is not like, guys, I don't live in a city.
It's insanely
I
abnormal.
don't,
Tell them about it.
yeah, like I'm in a county where there's like 2,000 people that live here. There's a real estate agent for every, there's a real estate agent for every 80 citizens in this county. I wasn't born and raised here. I'm not like the odds have been stacked against me, and I've just been going after it anyway. But I've lived all over the state. Like there's like a string across the state that we've lived and for very long periods of time. So I know a lot of markets really well. I do a lot of land. I do a lot of kind of high-end ranchettes.
Yep.
But I'm spread out. I also have a team. But I guess my big question, because I'm so niched and I don't have like a specific farm area that's even one county,
Yeah.
is that something that you feel like could work for me in my unique some circumstances here because I'm not a neighbor. I'm not, nothing about my situation and my career is normal. I kind of, I'm different. And so that would be my question there. And then, okay, the other thing that I want to know is these videos and these funnels that we're discussing, are these things that we record there with you, or this homework that we do at home?
No, it's homework that you do.
Okay.
And I'm going to make it super simple. I'm going to show you kind of how I do it. It
Okay.
used to be, I'll answer that question first. It used to be that whenever you did videos, it had to be slick. You had a nice camera. You're in front of a house. You're doing, and that's okay for a property tour or home property videos and stuff like that. But when you're just getting to know the seller and you're becoming sort of like people already know, like, and trust you. By the way, these funnels work for your sphere of influence, your farm, and your niche. A lot of people don't realize that even in your sphere of influence, you've got to, you've got to, you still have to wow them, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they just know Stephanie from church. They don't know that you're big baller in the real estate game. Maybe they do, but at the same time, you still have to sort of win them over, because now they're coming at you in a different capacity, right?
Right.
I had a guy reach out to me. I met him 20 years ago, sold his house 20 years ago. He reached out and he was like, basically the way he left the message was, oh man, he said, you're a high roller, or you're a big shot. You're a big shot now. He says, man, do you even have the time to work with me? And that kind of thing. That's what you want them to think. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, because at the end of the day, it's like they're practically begging you to take their listing. Like, Stephanie, would you even have time to work me in? I mean, that's what you want. If you start creating that kind of imaging, and all these tools help you do that. The fact that you've got your funnels in place and your book and your pre-listing packages a certain way. So that's very, very important. As far as the area that you're in, I would say as long as you're reaching your goals, it doesn't really matter. So like when you look and say, okay, I want to have my GCI, I want it to be whatever that number is, 350, 400, 500, whatever that number is. And if you're able to reach your goals, then you're within that market that you're in. So you have to kind of understand the saturation point. Like when I was in Austin, it didn't matter to me how many agents there were. I know the year that I became the #1 agent in the city. And by the way, I've never submitted my numbers since then, because I don't care. Like once you hit, some people do, but like once you become like the #1 in your city, that's it. You already got it on your resume. Now you could keep submitting your stuff every year to get, hey, I'm #1 3 years in a row, 4, but it almost doesn't matter from a marketing standpoint. We understand that when you become a best-selling author, as I am, I'm a best-selling author. So even if I write books in the future that bomb and don't do well, I'm still a number one best-selling author, #1 in my category. When on the day I had 2 books releases at the #1 spot. So these are things that you do, and that you, it doesn't matter how many other books released that day, or it doesn't matter how many other agents you're competing with. It's just, can you get your unfair share? Like, is it possible for you to reach your goals in your market? And if it is, then you can do it in a hybrid way. Like, you don't really have to farm necessarily. You could do digital farming. You don't have to do geographic farming. And you can, you don't necessarily have to have a niche per se, although you could. You can just sell, X number of deals with the people that you know. You could be all SOI. So I'm okay with that. But the end of the day, like Jim Rohn said, if you're not reaching your goals where you are, then move. And I'm not giving you this advice. I'm saying, because I know you love where you are, but I'm saying anybody listening to the sound of my voice, that's what I didn't say it. Jim Rohn said. He says, if you don't like it, move. You're not a tree. Just move. Okay. I'm in Puerto Rico. What did I do? What did I have to do to get to Puerto Rico? I was like, I always want to live. Why are you in Puerto Rico? That doesn't make any sense, because I always want to live tropical, and I can. That's why I'm here. Okay. I can live anywhere in the world. So I said, why not? Let's give it a shot, 2 to 3 years. And I packed up my bags and moved. And I created a lifestyle where that was possible. Okay. Now, if I didn't have a lifestyle where that was possible, then I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have been able to do it. So this is really all about providing choices, options for you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Now I'm excited about moving back to Austin. You know why? Because have you seen the average sale price over there yet lately? Woo! I'm telling you what, I'm gonna be like a candy store. I'm actually getting I'm actually getting back into the game a little bit. I'm not gonna go nuts like I did before, like when I'm in my 30s, but I'm getting back in the game just for the fun of it. And I'm gonna chronicle for you all my journey as I jump back into selling in Austin, probably be the first quarter of next year. It's going to be so much fun.
Are you sure you want to be that close to everybody that needs you?
I'm going to be real close to you.
You'll be a whole lot closer now.
I'm going to be so close. And guess what? We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. Guaranteed. Yep. All right. Who else? Okay. Let's talk about, and I know let's talk about strategies. What are you specifically doing that's working, and what are you planning to do in 2025 that's going to just help you crush it? Anybody?
I think for me, database diving, just going after it. I mean, treating it like the gold pile it is, and making it more consistent touches on it. I know Knolly, we had talked about doing shows. I do gun shows, but I'm also doing home shows. Expanding those to 3 other markets that are like 20 minutes away.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, it's just, it's belly to belly with people. You talk with them, you find out if they want to work with you and vice versa, and then you have a drawing, so you capture name, email, phone number. You can find anything else you need from that.
What's your follow-up mechanism, Dave, for that? Like, okay, the show, you got like how many, you get so many names, you capture them. How are you following up with those people?
Every show that comes up in their area, again, they get a 2 week, a 1 week, and then 2, 1. As far as the days of wait, 2 and 1, they get emails on those. I run it through Email Octopus, so I can count opens and clicks and bounces and such. Any of the bounces, I reach out to them. Hey, your email didn't come back. Let's make sure you still want to get these, or you are getting them. On the forms on those, I have if they're a home buyer or if they're renting, and that way it's super easy. If I know which category they fall into, they own it. I'm like, hey, I do a free monthly digest which tracks your value of your house, and that goes into HomeBot. So again, I track it and see what they're looking at.
Sure.
Yeah, but then as far as it touches on that, it's about 6 to 8 events a year, and so I use those to contact them. And then if there is interest or if they have a higher open rate, then of course I reach out. But I follow that through Follow Up Boss. So
it's
yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
You have systems in place. See,
they are systems. Are they messy and need to be documented? Yes, sir.
I love it. I love it. We can actually become too tech. I have a system now that every call that I make outgoing, it records the call, and it tells you when you pick up, this call may be monitored for current. And so I just tell the person, hey, I've got a system that is recording my call, and then I use AI to take
You use Otter AI? Nice.
Yeah. I use Otter. It takes it, transcribes it, and then it sends it over to ChatGPT and gives me an action plan. Yeah, here's a synopsis, and here's the next steps that you need to take on this with this person, whatever. And they get a copy, I get a copy. So I had a lady yesterday, she was like, well, you like technology, don't you? I was like, yeah. When I was 12 years old, I was taking computer programming. Okay. But there is a point where, and I get this, that one of my coaches told me, you can be a little too tech, right? Like it's got to be high tech, high touch, human touch. So I would love to see the human element in there, but not through you. I would love to see someone, and right now
for leverage.
Yeah, you got an image. You got an image that just popped up to who that someone is, not you. Right. But I would like to see someone pick up the phone and just reach out and leave voicemails to those people and say, hey, Dave really enjoyed meeting with, there at the gun show. He said y'all had a great conversation. You write a little thing on the back. He said y'all had a great conversation. You told him about your puppy. He really enjoyed talking to you. And, you're probably not in the market right now to buy or sell. And that's fine. But we really want to be thinking. We've got 3 people that we're looking to help. We want to help these people. Dave's really trying to help them. Do you know anybody right now that's looking to buy or sell? And
Nice.
just have those conversations. You know what I
That
mean?
was a better follow-up. One thing I was looking at too is a video follow-up. And then of course
Oh, I
run it
like
through
that.
Loom or something where it tracks it and just say, hey, this is what we saw the show, and I mean, that one I think I want to do is one blanket one and then a personal touch to them.
Yeah.
It's all about the touches. Another thing I have coming next week or next year, sorry, is a set of classes, but they're going to be videos.
Nice.
And the idea is you bring in the experts. So I'm bringing in an appraiser, insurance people, home inspectors, financial planners, pest mitigation, foundation people, wells, water people, septic systems. We have those here. And,
Yeah. I've
escrow
got one.
people,
I got one in
accounting.
my backyard here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And investment. And so the thought is I've already laid out about 6 months worth of programming. You do about every 2 weeks, just do an interview with it. And the thought is actually reaching out to people and having what questions do you have for them? So those become bullet points. And then it becomes like a class that people can go to. Of course, they go through a lead funnel, so I know what they're actually interested in. Of course, list the other ones, check off what you need, so I know what stuff they need. And then I was just actually thought about this initially was their individual questions would be perfect for video shorts.
Oh, of course.
You know,
Absolutely.
what happens if this? Ba-da-da-da-da. Here's a
Yep.
30-second video. And so that's going to involve somebody else doing the chopping, slicing, and dicing. Even I know how to, but yeah.
Yeah, they have AI that does that too. There's a software. Paul probably knows the name of it. He could throw it in the chat.
Mhm.
But it'll try to find what the viral parts of your video, a long form
And slice
video,
them
and
out.
yeah, slice it out for you
Mhm.
with edits
Yeah,
and everything. It'll even throw in B-roll footage as well.
nice.
I would like to see you take that every other week thing that you're doing and turn that into a podcast.
Yeah,
Okay. And then make that sort of like the local home seller podcast for your community or for your area, for your county, however you do that.
yeah,
And that the easiest way that Paul and I have found to do that to make it super easy for us, because I was, I don't like to have more than, when there's steps involved, I don't want to be involved in those steps. Let's just put it that way. Because I become the bottleneck, and I think you understand what I'm saying. You
oh
become
yeah,
the bottleneck in your own company. And so what we were finding was that when we were doing our podcast, Paul needed me to cut some intros, like, "Hey guys, today I'm here with Dave, and we're going to talk about da 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 da," and we blah 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 blah. It's an intro. So I was like, "Man, I don't got time to be doing those." So the podcast started stacking up. So I said, Paul, why don't we do this? Because I've seen other people do it. Let's take a viral piece of the podcast, like maybe a 20-second clip,
right,
like where it's so exciting. And then boom, when it comes in, it just starts with that. Okay. It's like, man, are you crazy? I would never do whatever the part is that is really
right.
good. And it draws them in and it says, "Hey, this is the Successful Listings podcast." And that's how I do my podcast now. So
I love that.
yeah,
Mhm.
so I'm completely uninvolved in having to do a intro or an outro ever.
Yeah, you cut the meat, the part that I mean they're gonna watch for 20 seconds max anyway for a lot of people, but that gets them
Yeah.
there. And if they hook the hook,
They're
I
hooked.
love it.
If they like that piece of it, then they're like hooked in and like, "Oh man." And then later on it gets to that part, but it builds up, right? So
Mhm.
I think that's an easier way to do it unless you're disciplined and you go in and are able to do your outros. Because you never want to have a gap where it's like, oops, they're waiting for me,
Right.
if that makes sense. But I would love to see that as being a podcast because that would create a whole nother layer of authority
Mhm.
for you. And people's like, "Oh man, you're the guy that has a podcast." It could
Yeah,
be,
my thoughts is
yeah,
podcasts, YouTube, and then of course the shorts would all be. I figure the shorts on YouTube actually will get a lot because if somebody's looking for one specific thing, what do I
yeah.
do when I hit this in this? And then they
But
find that answer there.
yeah, then you can do targeted ads if you ever want to. You don't have to, but
Mhm.
you could. You could do
Mhm.
targeted ads like on YouTube, where basically because YouTube is connected with Google,
Right. The
anytime
searches find it.
anytime somebody puts in this search, your thing comes up like as a resource, if you will. I
Yeah.
mean, I've had a lot of sellers list with me because of blog posts. I used to blog all the time
Mhm.
about different issues that were really interesting issues that sellers were facing that a lot of people didn't talk about, like a partial release of lien. You got a IRS lien, tax lien on your property, and you can't sell it without paying the lien. But how do you get a partial release of lien so that we can lift that lien off of your property and still allow you to sell it without having to pay it. Well, I know how to do that. And boom. And then I would explain to them how to do it. And they call me to list their home. It's not a hard process to do, but you have to know what you're doing, in other words.
Mhm.
So cool, man. That's good. Good.
Yeah, should be fun.
All right. That's a good strategy. I love it. Okay, who else? Who else wants to share?
Can you hear me?
I can.
How you doing?
Good. This
How-
Bonetta?
Yep.
All right.
So Knolly, I've been doing a number of things since I took your classes. One, I got my YouTube channel straight. I went to Fiverr. I had created one, but I didn't know what I was doing, and I don't have time to be fooling with all that. So I
Right.
went to Fiverr and got somebody to straighten it out for me for $25.
Oh,
Okay.
good for you. Good
So
for
now
you.
I just have to create videos to post on that. The other thing I did is that I've been looking for my niche. Since you said we got 3 buckets, I knew 2 of them. I had decided I was going to focus on my farm. Well, my niche. I'm sorry, my sphere, of course.
Mm-hmm.
My community for farming, because I've been in this community 24 years. I've never sold a house in this community.
Mm.
I wanted to really focus on. So I sent a picture. I might have told you this before. I sent a picture, a postcard of myself and my dog, because everybody knows me and Miss Coco. We could be my dog could be the company mascot. Everybody knows Miss Coco and they love her. So I got people saving the postcard with our picture on it.
I love it.
And
That's
the
neat.
third thing is I created a blog. I want my niche. I've always wanted my niche to be to work with educators. So I had not figured out how to do that. I mean, over the years, I've looked at different ways to do that. So I found a way to get the names of principals in one county, in one county. So I sent out an email to them offering to insert one of my blog articles in their newsletter,
Okay.
school newsletter. My
Yeah.
son is also a principal.
Good
So
for you.
I've been now following up with some of those principals. Nobody's called me back yet, but I found 235 of them in one county, and that's just
Wow.
in Northern Virginia. But I sent
Wow.
all of them this letter. So what I've been doing to follow up is calling them and see if they've reviewed it or so. Haven't heard back from anybody yet, but I did
Yeah.
something Dave just said about follow up. I hadn't thought about that. That might be a good idea.
To set a profile where now? Say again, Banana.
To do like because trying to get a principal on the phone is like,
Yeah. No, I get it. What I would love to see you do is leverage. So you spent how many years as an educator?
oh, I've really not stopped since I was maybe 5 years old. Since I first
Same here.
My
Yeah, same here.
my mother said, you came here to teach, but she didn't tell me that till I was grown. She said, I have a brother. Well, we had a brother. There was 3 of us, and we had a brother. He's gone. He's passed on now. But anyway, there were 17 months between he and I. I'm firstborn. He's second. Then we have a younger sister. My mother said when I first went to school, I was the first one to go. I would come home and then sit him down. She said it was bossy. Sit down, fold your legs, and learn your ABCs. She said because of my teaching to him, he skipped kindergarten. He went straight to 1st grade.
Wow.
So I have really never stopped teaching. I formally taught for about 14 years. I taught in various places, Africa, Hawaii, DC.
What I would love to see you do, and we're gonna kind of end on this because I know we're at time, and some of you guys have to absolutely jet out. Is what I would love to see you expand on that idea, Bonetta, is to basically let tap into not just educators, definitely tap into them, but also any executives, any managers of companies, anybody that's leading people, because the messaging is, you can change the world from the front of the room. You can change the world from the front of the room. So, and that's really what you've done throughout your life is you've been changing the world. And by the way, if you want to learn how to effectively reach your employees or your staff, your team, I've got 5 techniques that I learned as an educator that's going to help you become the sought out or the go-to or whatever it is, or how to teach anything, and really get your team on board with, following you, and it brings up morale and so on and so on. Because I guarantee you a lot of the people that are managers, middle managers, executives, and so on at companies around you, they don't know how to teach and they don't know how to lead their people. And their meetings are ineffective. Even meetings should be teaching opportunities, if you know what I'm saying. So I think that could be another powerful sort of a wedge or a door for you to get in front of other people as the authority on adult education, even if you didn't teach adults. Does that make
Hey,
sense?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
Miss Spinetta, another thing, you mentioned blogging, and
Mhm.
blogs were really popular couple of decades, maybe 2 decades ago. That was
Don't
like
try to
the
date me
thing,
now.
was to be blogging. And so it's really
Yeah.
funny because some of my younger teammates were like, "You want us to write a blog?" Yes, y'all, as soon as I started blogging, my business picked up. You would not believe how many people read old school blogs.
Yeah,
It is awesome.
I'm one of them, by the way.
I love it. And it's a
Yeah,
great way to establish authority in your knowledge of the area and what you learned in your career.
Yeah, I
love it.
started a blog on my website. I'm just trying to figure out how I can boost it from there. And the reason why I reached out to these principals is because my sister, like I said, she's a principal and she does a weekly newsletter. So I sent them again an invitation to maybe that be an option and a snippet of my blog so they could read it. That was the first insert. I also used to teach classes online. So that's another thing I'm going to go back to. I used to teach first-time home buyers in classes online. And I kind of got away from that before COVID because, they stopped buying. So, and it cost me money to invite them. So.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate it, y'all. I know we're at the end. Thank you so much. Great stuff here. When we hit in 2 weeks, the week before Thanksgiving, we're gonna have it's gonna be AKA where you can ask me anything. You have a specific question, anything you have or you want to talk about. I'll try to refrain from not that many announcements or anything. We'll just get right into coaching. Okay. And then Dave put another bug in my ear about the Realtor Bible study.
If I
Yeah.
said it out loud, I know it'll kick off another 30 minutes.
I love
So Dave, has Dave been pushing for this too?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
He has. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, so it
Bonetta's the one.
wasn't just me. So there's
Bonetta's the
more
one
of
that
us.
kind of kicked it off. Yeah, she was like,
Okay.
so yeah, we
I
won't
love
go
that.
down that road. But yeah, for sure. For
We
sure.
need to
That's
go there,
it.
Nolly. We do need to go there and soon.
It's in
Okay.
He
2025.
avoids it.
It's in the
Guys, Knolly avoids that like the plague because he
Nolly, you
does.
can't avoid. We're not
no,
allowed.
I'm just not looking for anything else to do, but I do love Bible study. I love teaching the Bible and also having a roundtable type discussion around it as well. So
Dang.
it's definitely something that will happen in
Can,
2025.
Right?
can I say something,
Yeah,
Uncle?
you get the last word.
Yeah, I put in the Google Search Console. Everybody's mentioned about, you have to index in the Google Search Console so that you're going to be appear to the Google search. You're going to be top and you're going to have authority. I'm intentionally hiding because I'm waiting for the legal settlement. So you got to
I
do
love it.
this one. It's a
Oh,
free.
I
You
like that.
need,
I like this. This
yeah.
is really
I,
good. Okay.
this is
That's huge.
everybody talking. This is a solution for you guys, but I'm intentional hiding. But my Google map is right now 38.2 million the viewer,
Okay.
like
Okay.
200,000 every week. So if I can do it, you can do it. I'm also former YouTuber. I got the 86,000 subscriber used to be, but because of censorship, they banned me. A badge of honor, 2020, April 20, they banned me permanently. So I still have difficulty logging the YouTube channel too. So if I can do it, you can do it because God loves you and me. But I
Amen.
claim, I'm a claim that I'm a favorite donor in this earth. Thank you.
Amen.
Can you
Wow.
share information in the chat real quick? Is that possible?
Yeah,
The
she
Google
put-
search,
she
it's
put the
a link
Google-
in there.
There's a link in the chat right now for the Google Search Console, and it's kind of like an audit, I guess. It looks really good.
I like that. I'm gonna try that.
It's
Thank
a
you,
it's
Blake.
a free. It's
Yeah.
a free.
Oh, Google Search Console. Okay.
Yeah, it's a free. You gotta do it.
All
Yeah.
right. Click
Thank
because we're out. I
Thank
love y'all. I love you, and have just continue to be thankful. We're gonna have another meeting before Thanksgiving, but continue to be thankful and work on your plan for 2025. What's working for you now? What are you going to institute next year so we can work less and make more? All right.
Thank you, Knolly.
See ya. Later. Love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.